Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Shane, Lindsey, and I are back for more Survivor 50 preseason coverage as we are about a week away from the premiere of Survivor 50. And we're here ranking the best premiere episodes in Survivor history with 49 previous seasons. There's a lot of premieres that really hit the sweet spot, and like they're really good. So I guess to open it up, I mean, what do you guys think of when you think of really good Survivor premiere episodes?
For me, it's like iconic characters and iconic moments that I can remember. Because oftentimes, like you look at the premiere, this is your first introduction to the season, and oftentimes it does set the tone for how the season's going to go. And a lot of these premieres we're going to talk about, I think, are from like really highly regarded seasons. But sometimes the premiere is really good and then the season fizzles. So it's like you can kind of separate them in a way. So I'm just looking for like big moments, big characters, and excitement. That's for me what kind of makes a good premiere.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could definitely have bad seasons with great premieres. And you could also have good seasons with not so great premiere episodes that take a while to heat up. So it kind of varies. Lindsey, what about you?
Yep. Everything you guys already said, as well as the seasons before we were stuck in Fiji. I love seeing the different locations when we go to like China, for example, which may or may not be on our list. You'll have to listen and see. I love getting to see like new locations, how the players adapt to these new locations, if the location is going to be part of the theme for this season, and how it's going to play into the overall as the season turns out. But of course, big characters too.
Oh yeah, exactly that for me. I feel the same way because like part of it is like the first, minute introduction where in the earlier seasons you'd like zoom in and like see different parts of the location, or you'd have like them coming in on a helicopter, however they're coming in. Like that's part of what makes it too, where like now, like in the more recent seasons, they just show up. I'm like,
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Like in the old seasons, we had Jeff and the finale coming in on jet skis and stuff. I want the opposite on a premiere. I want the cast coming in a cool way to a new location.
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, the premieres get me more excited than like when it finally gets to the finale. Like a lot of the finales just aren't as exciting for me as the premieres are. Because this is how you want the people to get their first impressions of your show. If they tune into a season, they watch the premiere, then they're hooked.
Right.
All the way through. So yeah, we're gonna go in chronological order here from the beginning and see what our top 10 premieres are. Then we'll have some honorable mentions at the end. And I just came up with another one as an honorable mention, but we'll get to that when we get to that. For our 10 that we did come up with, we of course have to start at the beginning with season 1, Borneo, the Marooning. This is how Survivor started. Like, I think it'd be weird to not have Borneo on the list because this is just such an iconic first episode ever.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at these in a vacuum, maybe it's not on the list, but of course we're not. Like for me, it's just so iconic because it was the start of like where we are now. And if the premiere was bad and like the season was bad, like we wouldn't be here 50 seasons later. Like this is what started it. And at the time in 2000, like this was like so different from anything else out there. Just like dropping these random people from all across the country in Borneo and letting them fend for themselves was crazy. So like I still always remember like that initial marooning where they're on the boat. Jeff drops them off. Like Jeff is a nobody at that point too. It's just crazy to think about this. And really like when they talk about it being a social experiment, bringing people from all walks of life, like Borneo embodies that. Like, I mean, you have like Rudy meshing with like Richard Hatch. You have Sue, this truck driver. Like Kelly's a riverboat guide. Like these are things we don't see anymore.
Yeah, so there's like so many iconic moments like Rudy and Richard Hatch. I mean, these two had never interacted in real life before this. And just like immediately one of my favorite quotes of the premiere is Rudy being like, I gotta fit in, not them. There's more of them than there is of me. And, I don't even know what MTV means. Like that's his iconic quote.
It's very iconic. It's what I really like about Survivor and why Borneo, the first episode, is so enthralling is because you're meeting people from all walks of life. Like, I want to say I was maybe 5, 6 when the show premiered. I had never heard of Borneo. I didn't know where it was. I don't want to survive on the island, but I was so captivated.
Yeah.
It brought everybody in, and it just started this epic adventure where we are now. Plus, I do love Richard Hatch telling us he's going to win just a couple minutes into the episode, and just shows us right then why.
Well, because immediately everybody's like, I want to continue watching to watch this guy fall flat on his face. And he wins.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, that was really like the start of what we now know as like the winners at it, which nobody knew of before.
Yeah, exactly. And then Sue going up to Richard and being like, talk versus action, and like, you better get your ass up out of the tree and help out. And then like, it's unfortunate where that relationship goes in All Stars, but like how that started is just like perfect, because you have a truck driver calling out a corporate trainer who's just wanting to sit there and think about the strategy of the game instead of how do we set the camp up. Like, so because he even says it like, we have to think about the first 7 ejections, the first 21 days is what he says, because he already knows like, okay, 21 days is how far I have to go to like get on the jury. And then like, I don't know, like it's fascinating. So and then we get the tribal council where Sonia Christopher, the first ever person, voted out, and it is a crazy vote. Like, it is a 4-3-1 vote. And like Rudy almost was the first person voted out. So
yeah, and it's just so interesting too, because again, like nobody really knew what Survivor was going to be, and I don't even know that Mark Burnett really knew what it was going to be, and like Hatch defined it, and he did it right in this very first episode.
Yeah, so
100%.
It's also, it makes me excited to watch Jenna Lewis on season 50, because she did the first season. She did not know what she's signing up for, just like she hasn't played in how many seasons since season 8. She doesn't know the new era. But it's almost like the first episode again with her. So I think it would be
Yeah. Well, because you also get like Jenna Lewis was on the cover of Time magazine because she was in the pink bikini. Like, everybody knew who she was because of that from the very first episode. And also, like, since we're talking about everybody, I think we brought up every returnee. I also love that Jervis, the other attorney, for later, obviously like the iconic shot of him like cheering as they get to the beach. So like, that's just an iconic shot.
But yeah, watching this premiere, like when I was 8 years old and watched it in real time, well, 1, I never thought returning players was a thing. But 2, like if I knew that, I never would have imagined Jenna Lewis is the one that's played 3 times from the season, and it's coming back 26 years later.
That is insane to think about too. And then that first challenge, obviously, like compared to now, but they like it's not as good as some other challenges they have now, but it's also just like funny to watch it at the same time. And they obviously do this challenge when they celebrate big seasons like in All Stars and Second Chance. So
yeah,
really good point about Jenna, because I was thinking anyone from this episode, like episode 1 of Borneo, who would play 3 times, like my brain wouldn't have automatically jumped to Jenna. I'm very excited it's her, but it's not necessarily who I would have thought playing 3 times.
Right. Yeah, like I would have expected Richard Hatch, and I mean, he would have played many times if he wasn't under house arrest or in prison.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately. All right, so that is our first premiere episode on the list. We're sticking to the old school era because we're going to Pearl Islands, beg, barter, steal. I mean, the season that starts off with a pirate theme. We get them split into their tribes. They have to jump off the boat with nothing but the clothes on their backs. And you have iconic moments such as Rupert immediately stealing shoes and like making us fall in love with him as a character. You immediately get, Johnny Fairplay and Sandra sticking out as well, and Andrew Savage being like the leader of the Morgan tribe. Like, I think like this is just such a good premiere, and like anybody that loves like some sort of challenge in the beginning, you immediately get it with like the village and everything. So
yeah, I think this is one that like more people than not would say is the best premiere of all time, and I see exactly where they're coming from. I have one I like slightly more, but like this just has everything, and it fits so much with the theme as well. Like pirate stuff was something we hadn't, or even themes like this we hadn't really seen yet in Survivor. And we also hadn't seen like them being stuck with only the clothes on their back. So that makes it like really like a survival show where,
Mhm.
you know, season 1, we're like, yeah, they're stranded, but they have bathing suits and everything. Where here
Right.
it's like, no, you don't. Like, you're in a suit or you're in whatever, like a dress. Like, that's just how you are. Or a Boy Scout uniform.
And it's funny like how that affects strategy, and in the end it probably affects the final tribal council vote because Lil's stuck in a Boy Scout uniform all season, and then people actually expect her to play like a Boy Scout and she doesn't, and then everybody's like, no, we just hate you now.
Oh my gosh. When we were even making this list, I said it was my favorite, but I actually take it back. It's gonna be my second favorite. I think I like one that's later on the list more. So curious when we get there, Shane, if you and I have the same one, we'll find out. But this premiere is everything I want from Survivor. It's a good theme. It's a fun location. We have a challenge to start. We have characters that stand out. Like we have Sandra like bargaining in Spanish to help her tribe in the first 10 minutes of the premiere, which I think shows what a great player she is because you have to adapt to your situation and to your season. And she did that perfectly from the get-go.
Oh, 100%. And then you get other comedic moments like that cannon challenge, which is another iconic challenge. You have Morgan behind, you have them stripping because Austin's pants keep falling down. Like, so there's so much good comedy there. And then another interesting vote off because you would think, okay, Skinny Ryan's done because he's like clearly seen as the physically weakest, but now it's Nicole because she tries to play too hard from the beginning. Like, I think that's really interesting that they immediately get rid of someone because they're causing drama. So
right. And I also like how much the culture of where they are is like baked into the premiere, because that's something I missed with where we are now, just sticking with Fiji. Like, they're really, you know, Sandra speaking Spanish. They're in a village, like with the locals, bartering, and I just really enjoyed that aspect of it too.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so that is Pearl Islands. All right, we are heading to Panama again because we're going right back with Panama Exile Island, the first exile. And I brought this one up because I think it is an iconic premiere for the fact, I mean, it starts off weird with 4 tribes split by age and gender, which only lasts 1 episode. But I think the main reason is that the 6 people who end up going to the final 6 are all like highlighted in some way in this episode. And from a character perspective, that's really fun. So you have Aris doing meditation and kind of like weirding the other young guys out because they're like, what is this guy doing? You have Danielle being the captain of sports, and she like loses the first challenge, but then she avoids going to exile. And so I think that's interesting right off the bat. Terry is bonding with the astronaut Dan Fuego, being like the older guys, and like Terry immediately jumps out as like the leader of the older guys. You have Sari, of course, her arc of being afraid of leaves, and then you have Shane and Courtney just being flat out weird. Shane has withdrawals from cigarettes, and Courtney's drawing a heart around a dead sea turtle. So
yeah, this was a premiere that originally like I overlooked. Like, when I'm thinking of what are the best ones, I just didn't think of all the stuff that happened here. But I think that speaks to like this season in general, because a lot of times when you see Panama ranked, it's like a very middle tier season. But when I rewatched it recently, I'm like, this season's actually like really good, and it's really good mainly for the characters, and I think that's what makes the premiere good. But another thing that I think makes it memorable, because I do always remember like that first challenge on Exile Island here, it's like this is the introduction of a twist that we see a lot in Survivor, especially in this realm. And like, yes, Exile came up in Palau very briefly, but this is like the full incarnation of it. And with like the god idols, so to speak, coming out. So I think because of like these introductions of these twists and like the character moments, that's what makes this one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, and with Exile, you're even getting like, they have to listen to Jeff immediately of like, he literally gives them the first clue. He's like, you know, why you were sent out here. And then like, he's like, well, the first clue, I've already given it to you. And then they have to be like, well, what was Jeff meaning by that? So I think that's pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah. I mean, also, and for character moments too, this is like the iconic Sari quote where she's afraid of leaves. I think that's in this premiere episode. Which everyone remembers that, like, and that's kind of part of her legacy now, which is what makes her so unique is like we can all relate to that. Like a lot of us don't want to get off the couch and actually go do it. We'd rather watch it, but we all have the potential to be an amazing strategist like she turns into.
100%. Lindsey, anything on this premiere?
I'm pretty much agreeing with you guys completely. I think the highlight of it is, yes, we get Suri and so many great players. Like we have Danielle, and we're going to have ours play again too. Quite a few. Terry Dietz, phenomenal player. But you also get the small moments like you mentioned with Courtney drawing the heart in the sand around the turtle. And we get a little bit of everything from most of the cast. So that helped me learn who they were quickly. And I also think that Exile Island is one of the better twists, and they did it well in this season. So it's just a good premiere, a good whole.
Yeah, and Timbertina I mentioned in our chat as well. I think like her being the first boot of like you wouldn't expect it because she is the strongest player, like strongest physically on the older women tribe, and she is the hardest worker, and she gets taken out because Cerie's able to like, you know, finagle and like work her way into the tribe and get the other two, Melinda and Ruth Marie, to be like, oh, maybe we don't need Tina. And like unfortunately you have Tina's story with her son, which also comes up. And so like you still get to know Timbertina in the beginning, like whereas, you know, some first boots in some seasons you don't really get to know very well.
Exactly.
So pretty solid season. I do wish they probably would have started a different way than like the 4 tribes, because it only lasted 1 episode, but didn't really matter to the grand scheme of the season, I don't think. But all right. Next up, we have season 15, China. A Chicken's a little bit smarter. I just think like the way this season starts off, where I think is something that they should do again when introducing their cast, is they immediately go around and identify like this person's job, what they do, and like showing that you have this diverse background of 16 different people. And I think that's incredible. So I think it sets the tone for the season immediately.
Yeah, for me, I completely agree. Like what makes this premiere stand out for me is like the culture is baked into it with going to the Shaolin Temple, the diverse backgrounds. I mean, you have a grave digger, a lunch lady, a chicken farmer, which brings me into the characters, because like Chicken as a first boot is so iconic only because of like his damn that he says when he gets voted out. And like I forget who it is, but when he screams it, like someone literally is like shaken by it, like they're so afraid. Because
I think it's Ashley Mazzaro. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like even on the TV screen, I know it's coming every single time I watch the premiere. I still jump when he goes, "Damn!" I'm like, I get it.
Such a funny reaction, and then like Jeff snaps his torch. He's like, "The tribe has spoken." He's like, "I heard him." Like, I don't know. Like, I would have loved to see Chicken back in a first boot season, but again, I don't know how like entertaining long term that season would be.
Well, I would love to see him interact with Reem.
Oh my God. That'd be interesting. I mean, it probably would be entertaining, but I just like strategically, I don't think you're gonna get like an amazing season off of it. But like character wise, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
they can't have a first boot season because they're just gonna vote Francesca off first again for the meme, and we're never gonna get past it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I mean, anything else from this China premiere?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, another good premiere. Going right to the next season, Micronesia, you guys are dumber than you look. That is a quote from Johnny Fairplay. And just immediately, like, you are getting confessionals from like the favorites, and then you get to introduce them and then show like a scene of them from their season that like everybody liked them from. Like, I think this is a really just fun introduction to these players that everybody idolizes, why they're favorites, which is funny when you compare it to the second time they did it and half the fans didn't even know who they were.
Yeah, I agree. Like I really liked how they did the walkout like one at a time, and like you have the fans cheering or not cheering them. Because like they didn't really even know who like Amanda was.
Right.
Like a muted reaction. Parvati at the time was like a nobody and changed that legacy. But yeah, you have like the iconic moments like Fair Play, or no, Yao Man smashing Fair Play's head into the side of the canoe. And then one of my favorite confessionals of all time is Mikey B like describing the fans tribe. He's like, we have the Incredible Hulk, Big Bird, John Bon Jovi in his prime. Like, it's just amazing.
Queer eye for the straight.
It's so good.
Yeah, Mikey B is another underrated pre-merge character that I would have loved to have seen gone further.
Oh yeah, he'd be amazing, and he looks so different now because I saw him recently at a Bryce and Wendell watch party because he has a whiskey company, and his whiskey is really good, but he's still in the scene, but you would never recognize him.
Yeah, look up now. I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, because on the season he was originally like a writer, author, or whatever it said. So, yeah, I mean, and just like the fact, like originally, you know, the favorites tribe is even like kind of how Caramoan starts with the fans in that season. The favorites are kind of split along. Okay, you have this couples alliance, and then you have like kind of the other people, and then they're trying to get like the swing votes of like Fair Play and Suri on their side, and so it's kind of similar dynamics in that way. And then, you know, you are going to get this crazy moment, like because they don't share the context of what actually happened to Fair Play on the season. So you're just like, why is Fair Play quitting right now? But obviously, if you know the context, we talked to Fair Play about it, or at least like what he would have done had that not happened. Like I think things would have been totally different. So.
Yep, agreed. I do love All Girls Alliance, like phenomenal at the end of this season. But I'll be honest, in the premiere, the first time I was watching it live, I was kind of siding with Penner. I was against the couples alliance to start. Yeah,
I mean, I would have loved to work with Amy, Penner, Yao Man, and then Eliza just as a character
they're
gold,
phenomenal.
So. Yeah, so, I mean that was a fun alliance, and it's unfortunate that they didn't get to actually do much. But especially like if Fair Play stays in the game, that alliance actually takes control. So
yeah, I need a what if from you guys with Eliza Orleans if it was a real idol, not just a stick, as a calendar.
That would be a good one. That'd be a good one. All right, so that is Micronesia, and now we go to the next epic season. 100% has to be on here. Heroes versus villains, slay everyone, trust no one, as I have as my headline. I mean, this is just such an iconic beginning. You have the helicopters coming in with everybody. I mean, we've never gotten anything like that ever again to match it, unfortunately, but like I would love them to do this again. And then you obviously get like the mat chats with all these legends. You have the music that's amazing. And then you have that opening challenge that is probably the best opening challenge ever.
Yeah, this is the one that's my favorite of all time. And I think it's the best of all time. Like one, like the cast is unreal. And it's crazy to think about at this point now. But like way back then, I'm like, we haven't seen Boston Rob and Colby in 6 years. Like that's such a long time. We're seeing 3-time players for the first time. When now it's like we haven't seen Jenna in like 20 something years since she's coming back. And we're getting 5-time players, or 6 if you want to count Suri's Australian run. This is her 6th time. But yeah, like the challenge, the characters, the intro, like that's kind of what I was talking about before, like them coming in on helicopters, and like even that mat chat, like you could just see like Jeff was having so much fun and like just enjoying the moment. Like it's possible, just based on how it came off, like that might have just been like natural and not like planned or anything, but his rapport with all the castaways, like it was incredible.
It's amazing. It's the perfect way to start a season. I love Bus and Rob. I'm a villain. I know he was kidding, but half the people on that tribe were like, wait, me? Why am I a villain?
Yeah.
Or like when Sandra immediately raises her hand, because she actually should have probably been on the heroes, but I see why she was on the villains.
Yeah, I'm actually interested because like, Parvati also raises her hand in the story, is that Parvati and Candace were switched.
Yeah.
So it's very funny, and then like Jeff has to explain like, oh, Parvati, you led this all devouring women's alliance.
And you can tell based on the editing, which maybe I'm wrong, but like it seems like they cut it off when she was about to be like, but my alliance is over there. Amanda and Suri, like, why are they heroes and I'm not?
Right. That's the funny part. And like also knowing that Natalie Bolton was an alternate. So like she was literally there too.
Yeah.
So they would have had that entire alliance.
Right. Although I think Natalie Bolton was actually going to be a villain.
Yeah. I think I 100% agree that she was going to be a villain. But yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to think about. We brought up the bet between Boston Rob and Sandra with Coach, and Coach climbing up the palm tree or about to climb up the palm tree. Like, I think that's just really fun. You have like Russell immediately coming in and being like, I'm the greatest villain of all time. I'm like Michael Phelps or Michael Jordan. It's like, all right. And like, you know, nobody knows who he is at this point. So it's just really, really interesting.
Okay, do you guys know this, like, for a fact or not? Did Russell truly believe he had won when he was playing season 20? Or did he not know? Or
that's what I've heard, because he didn't know for sure. The rumors I've heard is he found out he lost Samoa, like, possibly at the finale because Shambo told him.
Yeah.
And then he knew that he lost this season. Like, I think, which is at least he has some self-awareness, because that final tribal did not go his way. But it seems like, because when we talked to Sandra, she said he was asking her questions that implied he won. Like, oh, how long did it take you to get the money in your bank account and things like that.
Oh, and then did you guys hear like Coach's pregame interviews where he talked about what Russell told them initially, like that why he was a villain is that he was loyal to his alliance, but someone like went after him and he went and like punched them in the face, which I don't understand how anybody didn't be like, you know, you can't hit people on the show, Russell.
Yeah. Because he could have made up anything, because it would make sense when you're like, oh yeah, well that makes sense because like Danielle's here, Sandra's here, and like, how is Danielle a villain for cutting Terry? Because he wouldn't beat her.
Like, if anything, make Candace the villain since she's the one that stepped away from her tribe. Put Danielle on the heroes team.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with that actually. I'm like, how is Candace's move like viewed as heroic in any way? Like,
yeah, I guess it's just like because you're sticking up for what you believe in, where you're like, I really want to be with those people, so I'm gonna go back to those people.
Yeah, I think that's what Jeff tried to frame it as, because I've seen like the cast assessment video he put out for Heroes versus Villains, and basically what he said, along with what he said about Danielle cutting Terry, and that's why she's on the villains. So
I would love to hear how they were going to justify Parvati as a hero, because with Suri and Amanda, you can see it, because Suri, it's like her likability, and Amanda kind of a fan favorite as well. But with Parvati, I'm like, what was there at the time to justify her being a hero?
Yeah, I mean, she had the persona like of the flirt and of like being like the mean girl kind of type, so she fit in with the villains because of that.
Right. I mean, I guess now that I think about it, the only thing I could see is she actually is very loyal to her alliance.
Yeah, 100%.
Ever turned on them.
Right.
The one that did it was really Amanda, because she pulled up Nigel and took out Alexis.
True. I mean, they hadn't thought of making Eric give up his immunity till around later, so
they weren't desperate yet. They still had one to spare. Heroes versus Villains 100% on this list. All right, then we're gonna kind of go in the middle of the dark ages for the one season that is the shining light of this era, which is Survivor Philippines, the birth of my boy Malcolm, and the premiere Survivor smacked me in the chops, which is one of my favorite opening lines said by Russell Swan, of like, this is how what happened to me last time, and now I'm not. One of my other favorite confessionals that he's in the opening is like, he's like, I'm not going to be the leader. And then like, he's like, you know, I'm going to wait for the stupid guy to come in and be like, oh, I'm going to be the leader. He's like, okay, I'll let you be the leader. It's like, and then he does exactly what he doesn't want to do. So it's just, I think this is just like introducing the three returning players, like kind of getting the opening confessionals. Like you're getting Lisa Welchel and Jeff Kent. Like, I think there's, it's a really fun premiere. And then of course you get Zane Knight being the focus. So it's really fun.
And I mean, I'll say it because like watching it at the time, it was exciting because Scoopin was somebody that like everyone figured he'd be back at some point, and like you want to see him back after what happened in Australia. And obviously this is before everyone knew what he did outside of the game. But like that was something that made this iconic too, because that was one of the longest layoffs that we had ever seen.
Yeah.
Like 23 seasons at that time.
Yeah, 12 years. Yeah. At the time, I like nobody was gonna argue with Scoopin, not knowing who he was. And then, Penner, obviously, like, yes, this is his third time, but he's the most memorable medevac at that point. Because like, yeah, everybody knew him as a player from Cook Islands and then Micronesia, where he sadly got pulled. And then and then Russell Swan, I mean, at that point was the first survivor to almost die, like on the show. Like, of course, like these are the three that you're gonna pick.
Yeah, they make perfect sense to be casted at that time. And Philippines is a little bit of everything. We have the 3 returnees, because no one ever wants to see somebody medevac. That's sad to watch. It's shocking. Their game is getting pulled out from them. You're worried about their life, at least with Russell for a little bit there. Like, it's scary. So to get them at the second chance and come back is super fun. We get a lot of different characters, all walks of life. The Philippines, it's a beautiful location where so this premiere is just really well balanced to me, so it's on my top list. Plus we have a really fun first boot in Zane.
Zane is insane. But Malcolm and Denise sets up their relationship and their alliance that is going to control Matson and then, be able to bounce back after losing everything. And then you're getting RC and Abby, which is going to explode. And like by the very next episode, you have Jeff Kent trying to lead everybody against Penner. Like I think there's some just really fun stuff in this episode. So, all right. So then let's go to obviously a season that everybody seems to love for good reason. Of course, we have Survivor Cagayan and we have Hot Girl with a Grudge. And I believe this is the first like 2-hour, 2-episode. Well, no, Gabon had like a 2-episode in one premiere. So I guess Cagayan is like the second one to do that. But 2 episodes in one. And the season starts off immediately with a bang because you're going to get, David Sampson and Garrett both getting blindsided on the Brains tribe in like just very strange, chaotic ways. And then again, you're getting set up with all these great characters on the cast. So
yeah, I agree. Like the characters, the theme is very interesting, and like a lot of the characters play into that theme. The flame out of Garrett, you could say, and even to an extent David Sampson, because by being picked out and like making that decision to say Garrett's the weakest, like he kind of tanked himself there.
Yes. Yeah, it's very fun. And like, as you said, Shane, the theme, I mean, I love how they transport them to the location, the beauties in the speedboat, because it's like, the beautiful people, of course, get to travel in style. And then, the Brains are going to have the helicopter, like the coolest, most like smartest way to get there. And then the Brawn get the truck, like rumbling along. Like, I think it's just a fun dynamic for them to set up immediately.
Yeah, 100%. So this is actually the one I think is my favorite. I go back and forth between this and Pearl Islands, but I love everything about this episode. The way we're introduced to all 3 different tribes. I love the first challenge, how each player, the tribe chooses who they're going to vote out. Like they technically get to go to the tribe first and go to camp. And I love all the different decisions. We have Morgan kind of looking for the idol and lying about it. It's just a really fun way to get to know the tribe dynamics really quickly. And perfect.
Yeah, because you have Morgan, Trish, and then Garrett. And Garrett finds the idol, is going to go home with it by the end of the episode, which is so shocking at the time, especially when you get Jatia losing both challenges for her tribe, especially the second one, then dumping the rice, and then still like
put it out.
Yeah, Garrett does that much worse than her to get voted out instead. So
yes, and what I think is funny here is we have a little bit of the disaster tribe with the Brains, but this is when the disaster tribes are not every single time like in the era. It's still really fun here. Yeah,
like the 3 tribes and the disaster tribes weren't overdone to the point where you're just like, I'm sick of this being done over and over again. Like it was still interesting, and like I remember being so disappointed in the Brains tribe because I'm like, I'm definitely rooting for the nerd tribe. It just didn't work out. I mean, it worked out eventually for Tasha, Spencer, and Cass to at least like get a lot further and be stars of the season. But like, yeah, another great one. And then our last two. So then we got to go to the next All-Star season. We got to go Second Chances, or Second Chance. Second Chance, obviously being the name of the episode. And after the fans finally got to vote players in, like seeing the energy, seeing the marooning, seeing Quest for Fire again, for the first time since All Stars, and then like just like everything, like the energy that these players bring, and it ends with Kelly Wentworth getting an idol at a challenge for the very first time, and then you get Avita's blindside when everybody expects Abby to be the first boot. Like it's really, really good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I definitely like always remember that marooning where they're going for the rice, then Wigglesworth starts swimming, and like then Wu is kind of smart where he doesn't start swimming till the very end,
right?
And like hugs the bag. I remember that, and also like this maybe is the first time we really see the cast playing into this idea of like old school versus new school. So I find that really intriguing because there were so many characters that we hadn't seen in forever. And like, you wonder if we're ever going to see them again, with like some that recently we just saw, and then them getting to mesh and come together is really interesting.
Yeah, 100%. This is a fantastic premiere, fantastic season, because we know all these characters. So we're excited with them. We want to see their second chance journey. And I think Kelly's idol, like getting at the challenge, it might be the most iconic idol, like grab of all time.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, is she gonna get it? Like, this is the first time this has ever been done. I would say this is probably still my favorite idol grab at a challenge, just because like when they did it again in Game Changers, it's like we'd been there, done that. And then like I feel like the other one that stands out to me now is Australian Survivor Brains versus Brawn, where like Haley and George are like running and like trying to dig up the idol. Like I think that's the only other one now where I'm like, this is exciting because we've never really seen it this way before.
Well, if we're going to go Australian Survivor, the interesting one was Brains versus Brawn 2 when Miles gets it and he's like, I got it, you pricks, let's go. That is what makes that exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that now too.
If either of you ever go on CBS and play a Survivor and you find an idol, I need you to say that in your confessional, just for me, just for this moment, okay?
I'll keep that in mind. All right. Then our other one is, of course, Winners at War, Greatest of the Greats. This is such an epic premiere as well. Getting 20 winners for the first time. Again, you get Jeff's cringe accent with the champagne toast, and then you immediately introduced to fire tokens. You get a great challenge in the water that you think one tribe's going to win, and it's the opposite tribe than you think. And then like basically a two boot in one episode again, and it's just it's really exciting. So I like this premiere a lot.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it was one that we never thought we'd really see in all winter season, because even up to this point, pretty recently before it, Jeff's like, I don't think we have enough good winners that would say yes. And then to see like them all come together and the mix of like the old people and new people. I mean, Ethan being there, like never would have expected that, which was just amazing to see as well.
Yep. Yeah. I love the opening challenge. I know we touched on that already, but it gave me hero versus villain vibes, but in the water. And I thought that was really fun. We don't do such physical challenges anymore, especially with a cast that wants to play this much. When we eventually have like the Amber boot, we can see like how the fire tokens are starting to affect the game. We have Sophie talking about her nerd shields and calling out Kim for the shared idols. There's so much fun. There's so many fun moments in this premiere.
Yeah. I like even having like Adam and Denise like going off, and you think one of them is going to get booted, and then it turns to them splitting Jeremy and Natalie instead. Like that's really good. And then obviously you have Sandra being petty and taking out Amber to piss off Boston Rob. Like I think that's really fun. So
100%. It's very Sandra, and I love it. It is great.
Yeah. She's always going to be petty if she has the choice. So yeah. Yeah. So we have our 10 episodes there. We can mention some honorable mentions here. I mean, are there any premieres you guys wanted to bring up as like ones that didn't quite make the cut, but they're there?
Yeah, there's definitely a few that are at least memorable, whether they're great, I don't know, but they have memorable moments, and some of them are great. So like All Stars, I mean, that's the first time you have like these returning players, these icons coming together and meshing. And one of the memorable things about it is Jenna Lewis doing her like let's target the winners thing that we all still remember her for to this day. And like we kind of people are thinking like, will she go into 50 with that mindset as well? And that all harkens back to this premiere of All Stars.
Yeah. The All Stars premiere is pretty solid for a season that unfortunately ends up being pretty dark and negative. But it's a pretty solid premiere, and it's shocking to see Tina Wesson be the first boot. And that that's going to lead to the next episode, and everybody's like, oh crap, they voted Tina out first. Right. But just like you wouldn't think that would happen with this group, and it does, and you don't expect Jenna Lewis to be the one doing it, and she shows herself, because the way they edited her in Borneo is not how they edited her here, and the way they edited her in All Stars is way more who Jenna Lewis is.
Exactly.
100%. And I don't know if it was a secret scene or if it's only like on the DVDs. I don't think it's on every single premiere for All Stars, but I love when they show the Red Tribe mocking the other tribe going to tribal council, and they're all dressing up as different characters. We have Rob Cesternino as Jeff Probst going through the whole thing.
Yeah, that yes, welcome in Hoochie Mama.
Yeah, that scene, I just can't believe they didn't put that in. Like, I think it was a secret scene, and that should have been in there.
It was a secret scene, yeah. I love that so much. I think when we talked about All Stars on 1 through 50, I believe I shared that as our short, because it's just so iconic to Yeah, like it's just so funny. You get Sue playing Jenna Lewis and Rudy, Big Tom is Rupert, Boston Rob's Ethan, Amber's Tina. Like, it's funny. Alicia's Jerry, I believe. Yeah.
Alicia and Amber going back and forth is fantastic. Like, I love them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Boston Rob's Ethan cracks me up because he, knowing that they become really close friends, and Boston Rob just wants to embarrass Ethan in this season.
Oh yeah, he does it so much, because even in that challenge where they have like the stuff in the boxes, he's like, "Hey, pretty boy."
He's like, "See, you knew who it was. He looked at me."
All right, yeah, All Stars is a good one. I would say one that I thought of that we didn't put on the list. I put Redemption Island, because that premiere is actually really, really good. Francesca, you have Philip Shepard going nuts at tribal council and like exposing everything, and you get like the really fun Boston Rob confessional being like, you amateurs, you never seem to learn. Thanks for the memories.
Yeah, no, that is a good premiere. And like even with Rob and Russell entering on the helicopters, like Matt Elrod being like, when Jeff's like, "Oh, when you're voted out, you're not out." Matt Elrod just like mouth agape. He's like, "What do you mean?" Like it kind of sets him up for what's gonna happen to him.
Yes. Yeah. It's just very iconic. Lindsey, what honorable mention do you want to bring up?
I think my next one is Tocantins. I love getting to know the characters right away. We have a lot of confessionals to start out. We get Tyson, we have Sarah. Everyone's kind of talking back and forth. I just think it's a fun way to get to know everybody. And Tocantins is such an interesting location. I think it's the only time we've ever been to that area of the world, or at least it's been a while.
Amazon is the only other time we've been to South America, I believe. Okay. So, but yeah, that like kind of location, the Brazilian highlands. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like the plains and like sort of desert, but not quite, because then you have like beaches next to a lake. Like I think it's a really fun location. You get first impressions, so you get Sandy being pissed. I'm pissed, and then she doesn't know what a pace is. So there's some funny stuff. I would have loved to meet Sandy, because I think she was supposed to go to Celebrity Weekend this past year and then had to cancel. But I would have loved to have met Sandy, just because I think she's a really funny character.
Oh, same.
Fun fact, Token Teens is the first season I ever showed my husband to get him to start watching, and he'd already like knew of some winners or seen me watching it in general. So he knew Sandra was a 2-time winner. And when we start Token Teens, he's like, why do we start here? I already know Sandy wins twice. I was like, you're right, babe. I started you on the wrong season.
Oh boy.
I wonder if he was shocked when she was voted out by episode 4. Yeah, well, and then obviously you get the iconic first boot of Carolina, who's going to get the most cringe proposal a few seasons from now.
Oh, I blocked that out.
I didn't even because Redemption Island was my first season. I go back to Token Teens and I'm like, oh, this is a girl that gets proposed to, and then she's first out. I'm like, okay, so she wasn't even that memorable to begin. So, yeah, I mean, Token Teens is a great one. I guess some other ones I had on my list. I think we had a few more. I was gonna go with 44, just because just having rewatched it recently, I think 44 is a pretty solid premiere. You know, you get the iconic Tika 3, you get Carson and Carolyn and Jam Jam that kind of get this exposure as like these really kooky, likable characters, and then you're gonna get Bruce getting medevaced immediately. Which is really sad because I think I would have loved to have seen how well Bruce would have done on his first season, with the dynamics of being with the crazy Tika tribe. And then like, I think he would have fit in pretty well, honestly, on that tribe. And then you're obviously going to get like Brandon and ends up finding that birdcage idol. And like, then people are like, okay, well, we got to get rid of the idol. Let's get rid of Brandon, who's our biggest guy. And he plays it and immediately sends Maddie home with 1 vote. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I remember when I was watching this premiere live, I was like, this is one of the best premieres I've seen yet. The rest of the season wasn't amazing, but like the premiere was really good.
Yeah, completely agree. Lindsay?
Yep, I agree. I also like the birdcage idol because they've been mixing it up in the new era a little bit. I thought this was one of the more fun ways to have idols compared to what we've seen.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then you also get what like a showmance that actually has like lasted after the show, with Matt and Franny. So I think I actually like them together. Like, I thought that they were a fun pair. Obviously that they weren't going to last in the game together because nobody's going to let a couple get far, but
right.
They were fun. All right, and then what other seasons? I had a couple more seasons written down that you guys had. What else?
Yeah, I mean, I always like Blood versus Water, so a lot of things related to that season are on my list. But I do think the premiere is good because you get the loved ones for the first time. I mean, you have Rupert sacrificing himself in the game. So I like that. Guatemala is on the list because that hike is pretty memorable. And it's probably it for me. I'm not, unless I'm missing anything, but I think otherwise everything else we've already hit.
Yeah, I think we had Vanuatu as well.
Oh, Vanuatu. Yeah, that one's memorable because of like that whole tribal ceremony thing at the beginning and like climbing the pole. And also for the fact that like Chris Doherty can't do that balance beam, should have been voted out, and wins the season in iconic fashion and is one of the better winners, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you have an alliance that like basically overtakes what is supposed to be the majority and what is supposed to be the norm of like, if you're a young fit person, you're probably going to do really well. Yep. And instead, like the older players, they end up teaming up against the young guys. So I think that's really fascinating, actually. And it breaks like the norm, especially in an old school season.
Right.
So, Lindsay, anything else that you wanted to bring up?
I think we have summed it up. Like, San Juan del Sur is also fun, but the OG Blood versus Water season 27, I think, is the better version of that twist.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, again, Rupert trading places with Laura is a pretty fun thing to watch because you know he's going to do it. So, all right. Well, that is our best premiere episodes. As you can tell, we are very excited for the premiere of Survivor 50 next week. So like, share, comment, subscribe. You don't want to miss our Survivor 50 coverage. We got one more preseason podcast coming up at the end of the week. So you won't want to miss that either. And then, we'll be back with recaps together with a survivor on every week. So with that, we will see you all next time for more Survivor 50 on the Tribe of Nerds.